It's been a while since I made my last video, and now I'm feeling a little bit rejuvenated. It is time to upgrade the Amiga 1000 with a Rejuvenator board. This is a clone of, or a recreation of, the original Rejuvenator board that was made, I think, in the 80s by Greg Tibbs, who unfortunately sadly passed away before he saw this board fully finished, but I think he did get to see a prototype working. He was involved and helped with the recreation, providing information and some support. I'll link in the Git repository and some information in the comments or in the information below, so that you can go and read more about it. But basically what this board does is it replaces the Kickstart RAM, the WCS I think it's called. So this Rejuvenator will only work in these motherboards. They won't work in the cost reduced ones where they have the extra Kickstart RAM soldered directly onto the board. My A1000 here has been modded already, so I have, you know, a GoTech on there. I have a Kickstart in there, and also the power supply, because this was originally from the US. It was obtained from a friend who is from the US, and so it only runs on 110 volts. You can't convert the power supply. So inside here is actually a small form factor ATX power supply that was pulled from an old NAS. So it just about fit in here. Can't get the grommet back in, but you know, at least the power supply fitted in here. And that's why we have this little fly lead here, because on the big box Amiga, certainly the 1000, the 2000 and up, they have I think 3000, but not the 4000. They have a tick which is derived from the mains frequency that provides a clock signal. So that's not present. So I'm taking it from here, the Agnes chip, and then routing it through to where it would go on here. On the 2000 you actually have a jumper to select the two different modes, whether you have the tick coming from the power supply or from the Agnes chip. I think the main, or certainly on the 2000, if you're using a gen lock, or even on this, I think, yeah, if you're using an external gen lock, then it needs that kick signal to synchronize the video. So I think if you do this mod, you can't use a gen lock, it just won't work properly. But I have no intention of ever using a gen lock, so not a problem for me. I think, I'm not sure if I'll have to remove this mod and put in the original ROMs, the bootstrap ROMs, or whether if the Rejuvenator will just work with the Kickstart just installed here now without the bootstrap ROMs. I'm not sure if it requires it. There's the Kickstart, the board. I think, yeah, it fits in here like this. So yeah, it has a cutout there for the power connector, and it has these cute little modules where they've soldered the, I think it's SJ type RAM, I think the package is called an SJ package, onto these little carrier boards to plug into these sockets. So yeah, and then you just need, I think, 4 fly leads. So the RMB clock, 12 volt ground, and a 28 megahertz signal. You just have to run some fly leads. You do have to remove this shielding can at the top here, because 2 of the chips you need to connect to are in there. So I already have this dismantled because, you know, unlike the other Amigas, this one has a multitude of screws. All along here there are screws that go through the top shield and then through the actual PCB. So you have to remove like 20 odd screws just to get the shield off and the other things out. And you do need the shield because, unlike the other Amigas, the shield actually is part of the actual structure of the machine. It's very flimsy without it, so you do require that. Otherwise, yeah, you can just warp and twist the casing. So let's get my Kickstart mod out and the daughter board here. So I'll just gently lift it up its own headers. So normally it is screwed down, but I've already pre-removed those as well. Oops, there it comes. And I just need to take out my Kickstart, and there's somebody sending me an SMS because I forgot to put my phone on silent. Let me take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, PCBWay, my favourite manufacturer of prototype and low-cost PCBs. The quality of their boards is superb. They also offer CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, 3D printing and injection molding. They can even assemble your boards for you. Sign up today as a new member and get a $5 welcome bonus. There is a link to their website in the video description where you can check out the amazing services they have to offer. Now back to the bench. Okay, and let's just gently lift out the Kickstart. Been in there a while, so it might be a bit stiff. Yes. So we will need this later, because I will have to put that board back in there at a later date, because this is not actually my Rejuvenator board. It's on loan from my friend Charlie, who's kindly lent it to me to make this video. So we need to remove these 3 chips as well, and also on these pin headers here we have to move the plastic, I don't know what to call them, retainers, down. Some people say take them off, but no, you can just push them all the way down, because as I said, I'll be putting this back to its original condition, but it was just in there when back to its original configuration, as I'll have to give the Rejuvenator board back, unfortunately. So if you do happen to have a spare Rejuvenator board, even if it's just the bare PCB, let me know. Drop me a message in the comments, or send an email to the email address that will be in the notes. You know, I'd be interested in acquiring one, because I don't think anybody's making these anymore, unless I can find the. I suppose I could send the Gerbers off and have one made, but I don't think it would be that cheap at the moment. So first of all, let's get our 3 custom chips out here. Now, two of them are these nice ceramic packages. So one is the Denise chip, one is the Paula chip, and obviously the Agnes chip. So the Paula chip we will need to reuse as well. Normally would reuse the Denise, but I actually have to put in here a high-res Denise, because they are, you know, pin compatible. It's just a case of changing them. And these chips are very stuck in there, so maybe just give it a squirt of contact cleaner, because it also will also act as a lubricant. Come out a little bit easier now. First thing I want to do is destroy the chips. Yeah, you can hear it's just really grubby. That's it, it's coming. There we go. So we managed to get it out without bending any pins, and look at those beautiful gold pins. Okay, I'll bend that one a little bit, but she'll live. So, we got never noticed that before. Of course, the daughter board was on top. So we've got P for Paula, A for Agnes, and D for Denise. Nice, that's very helpful. course we won't be needing the Agnes because it's going to take a newer Agnes. So basically we're going to upgrade this to a full ECS machine. So basically effectively turn it into the equivalent of a 500 plus basically. Okay, so that's Denise. Denise. Wasn't there a song called Denise? Okay, so yeah, we need to push these down. So I think the best way to do that is with a pair of tweezers. Now these are just kind of blunted ones. They're not sharp at all. So we can probably just put it here and then push down. Yeah, that's working. And we've got to do it to all of them. Seems to have gone a little way and then just stopped. So I might need a bit more brute force in the currents on that one. That one went down easy. Maybe if I spread the... Okay, so our plastic spacers are all pushed down. So here comes the tricky bit. Aligning all these pins and getting them all to go in the right place at the same time without breaking or bending any. So those headers, they will push into these blocks which are designed to take the pins. I think on the original board, these were basically, yeah, just header strips which it pushed into, so it just sat on top. Whereas this, they actually go through the PCB. So that's why you need to push these spacers down, otherwise they will not go in. So I think the most critical part is to get these pins lined up first of all, because yeah, if you bend one of those, it's going to ruin your day, especially if it snaps off, because yeah, that would be a pain in the neck to replace. Ask me how I know. Okay, so let's just gently get it roughly in the right place. Okay, so that cutouts for the capacitors, not for the power connector like I thought. Now to line everything else up. This is going to be the fun part. Trying to get all these pins aligned is just impossible. You can't see what you're doing. I don't think taking the board out is the answer. Well, I might have to. Might make it a little easier to manipulate. Yeah, let's take the board out. Let's see if that makes it any easier. Okay, well, it appears to be in. After much struggling, this is an absolute nightmare to get in. I wouldn't advise anybody to try this. Jesus. I was going to do a quick few continuity tests just to see if, because these have the 2 sockets on the bottom, presumably that was for the correct spacing, but just wondering whether the second one was just to protect the the pins, and that you need to remove that one. I can't get the probe in there anyway. Either. I mean, obviously that one's working. This one, I can barely see the pins. I can see them there. But this one, nada, can't even see the pins. I suppose I can do continuity from the bottom. Yeah, it's connected. And try the outer one. Yes, they're connected. So it's definitely in there. Well, what a palaver. I mean, that's taken me all of about 40-50 minutes just to get this board in. Obviously, by the time I edit this down, it will be a lot shorter, as is my fuse right now. That is the board back in. Right, let's do our jumper wires. That's going to be a simpler part of things. Jesus. So I'll use the red and the black for the positive and ground. So there's the ground. I'm not sure why it needs a separate ground, because there's a ground on that connection there. Or maybe it's just for the battery. It does say the 12 volts is mainly needed for the battery, so one colour. Do I really need it? Not sure, but yeah, we'll plug it in anyway. And our positive should be this one here. Oh, I can test that, can't I? Because if we've got the ground there. Yeah. So, let's leave the ground off for now. Don't think we need it. Okay, so I need the 28 megahertz, and that needs to go to pin 8 of U9G. Let me get my wrong one. Okay, so this is U9G, and the actual silk screen writing is on the outside of there. So this needs to be hooked onto this last pin down here, because that should be pin 8. It was pin 8, wasn't it? Yes, pin 8. Okay, and then this RMB clock, that needs to go to pin 1 on U8G, which is this chip here. Just my head a second. Oh, I'll just tilt the whole thing up. Come on, get in there. I'm going to try from the other side. It doesn't want to go in. Well, it's not on there, but it's not terribly good. It kind of feels a bit flimsy. It's like it's just not enough space behind the leg for it to latch in. No, there isn't. happy with that connection at all. That's on there for now. Okay, so let's get our chips in. So we have our Agnes chip. This is 2 meg Agnes chip. Okay, pin 1 is in the middle there. Okay, and this has a little adapter board to allow it to take the 2 meg Agnes, so the 8375. But one thing to note, according to the instructions, is that it's not compatible with the one marked with VBB. So this one isn't, so it should be okay. Okay, so then we need Paula, which should be here. Be careful with these pins, they'll be delicate. That's it. And then we have our ECS Denise. Oops, does she have any bent legs? Yeah, a few bent legs. So we can straighten them out. Always when you're trying to remove Denise out of a 500 or a 500 plus, is that one end is right up against the case, so it's really hard to get it out without bending the legs. Oops, another one's bent there. That's it. So if it's too hard to push in, then usually there's something wrong and you shouldn't push. These turn pin sockets, it's a lot easier to bend the pins because yeah, you have to get them in precisely almost, otherwise they just catch on the sides and bend up. Okay, so time to connect things up, see if she still boots. Although I think she probably won't. I still need to put the kickstart in. Also connect the power cable. Won't do much without this connected. Oh, and I still need to connect the line for the tick. All tick, no talk. We have power connected. Now I looked on the circuit diagram earlier, and it should be the 6th pin up here that is the clock signal. 2, 4, 5, 6. Where's that 5? Do I need to go one higher? No, it isn't. 6. So hopefully that's making a good enough connection, although I'll put the case on, I'll have to figure, well, it's not going to be a permanent installation, so if I was installing it permanently, I'd probably just solder a wire in there. And the question is, will she chooch? Put the mouse in, I still need the Kickstart chip. Where's that board? Now I'm not too sure about these jumpers, because obviously these jumpers had to be changed when I took out the those bootstrap ROMs, so I don't know whether I have to change those back or not. So, and then there, the Kickstart goes the other way. This is a 1.2 chip, so that's good for testing. You can always put in a Kickstart switcher. These look pretty straight. There we go. Just plain hard to get. Right. Moment of truth. Was your power on, or whether she go? Well, the power supply came on. But we're getting no video signal. Okay, let's try changing these back to what would have been their original positions. And nothing. Dead as a dodo. No video signal whatsoever. Well, let's try connecting this going where I very much doubt whether that's going to make a difference, but hey ho. Ah, this has come off. Yeah, not too happy about the way that's holding on, especially since this seems to be that clock signal. This RM whatever clock. There, let's just click this on. I think pin 8 here would be ground. Nope, no video signal. Is our Agnes in properly? Yes. Is this making proper contact? We can test that. And there's a bit of a hack having that in there. So if I can measure from here, which is a tick, over to I think somewhere over here, I think is the pin. I think it's this one here. Yeah, so that is connected. So that is not our problem. It could be that I did need to take off those two sockets to push it on properly. I mean, those are connected and everything appears to be in. But maybe it's just not pushed down far enough. Yeah, because the whole board's tilted. If I have to take that off just to put that in, I'm going to cry, because that was a nightmare getting that in the first place. but I think that's what the problem might be. Let's try and push down and turn it on. Yeah, I think that other row of sockets on there were just to protect the pins to avoid them getting damaged, and they should have been taken off. Yeah, well, that's a fucking tragedy. Well, it went on once, it'll go on again. I think something about making proper contact somewhere. Or it could just be that this is an NTSC machine, but no, this should work in an NTSC machine. I can't see that being the problem. Was I not even getting a video signal, let alone anything else? Not even a black screen. Let's just reset my capture device just to make sure I'm not going crazy. Or maybe I do have to install those boot ROMs. Ah, I am getting a video signal. But my capture device is going nuts. So let's bypass the capture device then. It just means that I will not easily be able to show you anything ad hoc. Okay. Let's reset it again. Okay, so it's seeing a video signal now. So let's just put these two back here and here. So it could just be jumper settings. Or was it getting a video signal? Let's see if putting in these chips makes any difference. The odd and the even bootstrap chips. Can I even get it in there? Maybe just. Maybe the Rejuvenator requires these to be in there. No, still nothing. I'll end the video here. We didn't get the Rejuvenator up and running, but as the video's gone on long enough, I think that's probably a good place to end, and then there'll be a part 2, and hopefully I can figure out what is wrong and get the system up and running so I can show you some screenshots. As always, catch you later.